album The Last Stand starts 2,500 years ago in ancient Greece at the Battle of Thermopylae. This was one of the absolutely typical themes that we thought, okay, this is definitely the last stand. This is the leading last stand of the album. This is why it should open the album. It's the Spartans, 300 of them, as the legends say, standing against a huge Persian invasion army that's gonna conquer basically Greece and the rest of the world when it would come past. But they make their last stand at something called Thermopylae, which is a Greek translation of the hot gates.
Until your last dying breath. Until your last dying breath.
The Last Dying Breath, it's a song about the Battle of Belgrade in 1915, and we actually were so inspired by the speech of the mayor talking there and how he inspired the troops. And this is like, it is a last stand in all terms that fits perfect into the album, but it was mainly his speech that inspired us.
Well, I think that also what gave at least me inspiration and getting into the song more, because we played Belgrade not too long ago, and we went around there a lot that night looking for stuff and just getting the vibe and imagining how it could have been. So I think that's one of the things that we're privileged to do when we travel the world, to actually see the places ourselves where things went down.
It felt very good to write a song as we just played in Belgrade and see the awesome, absolutely crazy crowd. We remember them when we wrote the song, so this will be definitely a cool crowd favorite to play in Belgrade for one day.
And it's also nice, as Hans was talking about earlier, to be in the places before you write the song. Yeah. Because usually we're invited to see the stuff in the museums after we've written the songs, and we always found out new stuff, and then it's a little bit too late to add something to it. But there are several places in this one where we actually visited before we wrote the songs, and Belgrade, of course, being one of them. This is a bit of a strange song, Blood of Bannockburn. I think it might be the only Sabaton song ever written in a major key. And it's a bit strange in that way, but it's also one of my favorites on the album. And the story, well, kind of speaks for itself.
The story is about Scotland's War of Independence and the Battle of Bannockburn in 1314, where England was approaching Scotland with a huge army, and Scotland had to fight back for their independence under the lead of Robert the Bruce. And well, we just recently were in Scotland and we were inspired, and we were out searching for things. Me and Hannes were looking for like kilts and stuff to be wearing on that album, and I was coming home with inspiration about that. And when we decided, okay, we're gonna do a Last Stand, okay, that's the Last Stand album, we should do a song about Scotland. And initially the song had only this Hammond organ playing and stuff, but as we decided to write the lyric about Scotland, we decided to add also the bagpipes and stuff, which definitely brings more life into the story.
I remember the Argon, 1918. The sounds of that battle still haunt me to this day.
Well, The Lost Battalion is our choice of a single, and because one, we like it's a good song and it's kind of unique. I mean, we talked about this in other tracks maybe, but for those of you who haven't seen it, we can tell you that the kick drum is not a real kick drum. It's actually a 50 caliber machine gun shooting. And the snare drum, it's a 9mm handgun. Boom. So it's actually the story about the Battle of the Argon. Between 500 and 575 American soldiers find themselves totally surrounded inside the German enclave, actually, and they hold out for several days. They have no proper means of communication, so the only way for them to actually communicate the fact that they are being shelled by friendly fire, the friendly artillery shooting them, is to use carrier pigeons. So they send this small message: for heaven's sake, stop, you're firing on your own. And the fact that these 500 men could survive for almost a week inside, surrounded by hostile forces, is quite fantastic.